receiving my content. There we go. All right. Waiting for my phone to go off to tell me that I'm live. So last week and a half, or well, not week and a half. It's literally been 1 week and a couple hours. It's been interesting. It's definitely been a learning experience. I have fortunately lost some friends that I've been friends with for a very, very long time. When I ran my show a week ago, hold on, I'm still making some adjustments. I'm exhausted. I'm on an unbelievable amount of medication right now for a medical condition I'm currently undergoing. But I honestly felt like this had to be done now. It just could not be something that I could wait on any longer. I knew that if I didn't do this now, I would be up the entire night over this because of how shitty I feel. So this week, during all this, at no point was I told who this individual, who the woman was at the event. I was never given a name. I made sure that I didn't know the name before because I didn't want to put it out there. However, this lady did a reaction to my video, and I watched it, and I can honestly say that I got upset by the video. And, you know, I felt like a huge pile of shit. And I very well should have. I want to take the time before I say anything about anything else. I need to apologize. Now, if I mispronounce your name, I apologize for that as well. But I believe it is pronounced Upmihr dear Beanslaw is your name. At least that's the YouTube name that I saw. If that's not your game name, please by all means correct me. My name is Yhamish, and it's wonderful to finally have a face to all this. I owe you an apology. It seems that the understanding is that I was attacking you, that I was belittling your situation. I was belittling what was going on with you, and that was not my intention whatsoever. I was not intending to belittle you. I was not intending to make fun of you. I was not intending to go after you in any way whatsoever. And if you honestly believe or felt like I did that, then I am sorry. There is very few people that I would even begin to target in a negative light about things. You certainly were never one of those people. I found out more information about the situation from you, and I believe your statements that you made because they did, at no point did they appear exaggerated. Um, I was going off of information from two people, two. I'm still not going to name their names, that were at the event. I thought I could trust those people. I obviously cannot. I was not made aware of more details that even you said in your reaction video. Like I said again, I am sorry that you felt that I attacked you, that I felt you had no right to report it. That was not my intention whatsoever. It was not my intention, nor did I feel like, I should be party to your personal situations. You said in your video that I didn't need to know certain things. Well, let me try to elaborate a little bit on why I jumped off the cliff without noticing that there was a bridge a little bit further down. This is probably the best analogy I can come up with at 12:48 in the morning, which I apologize if I'm a little off. When the information was given, the only information was put out there was simply that a person hugged somebody and they received a COC3. Now, I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't report anything. I'm not saying that whatsoever. If people feel threatened, if people feel like they've, had this happen, or if people have been attacked, by all means, I want people to report it. I want people to feel safe. I've always wanted that. I've always wanted a safe environment. But we have in the game have had a rash of people using the COC to their advantage, to remove people that they just didn't like. And when you have this series of individuals that have done this, then you get a report that somebody has hugged another person and they've been kicked out of the game for 3 years, and that's it. It's the only information available. And then when you reach out to people who are actually there and expect them to tell you the truth, I hope you can at least see where it seemed like it started to line up with this. And I apologize for that happening. I apologize that your real situation, your real unsafe situation that happened to you got caught up in this when it shouldn't have. I was not made aware that the individual who was hugging you was intoxicated. I was not made aware the individual had 7 years of incidences. I had no knowledge of it, of a lot of things. And the more I look back at this, the more I realize maybe I should have just not ran it. Maybe I should have just not ran the story. But I felt that given the situation of trying to not belittle people who are reporting problems, but going after people who are getting rid of people for made up problems. And I didn't elaborate that. And I've had to watch that show so many times to go back and try to understand where complaints are coming from. I've had to so many times that I'm sick of the show just because I don't want to hear myself anymore. And I was not attempting that whatsoever. I was not attempting to make you feel you know, any more issues from this incident than you already have. You know, and as more information and more information and more information has come to light as it has gone on, you know, the more it just justifies the fact that now my belief is that that person should be gone for good. You know, I don't think that that person who did that to you should ever come back. Personally, I hate the fact that that happened to you at an event. I hate the fact that that person who you said was your friend was making those comments and making those jokes. And you know, I hate that that happened to you at an event. I do. I honestly do. And people are going to say, well, no, well, you say these things, but then you say that you hope they don't event. Let me explain something. No matter how much I dislike any person in this game, and there are a couple people that I do dislike in this game. There's not very many. The list is very small. But I don't even wish for them to have an unsafe event. There's one specific individual. Me and her disagree on absolutely everything. I mean, we disagree on absolutely everything, and I hope that every time she comes out to Amtgard, she has the absolute best time and the safest time humanly possible. I don't know how I can even remotely come close to conveying to you that these things that happened that were not my intention to relay to you. They were not. I was trying to make a point, and I did a very, very poor and horrible job of trying to make a point of these people that were taking the COC, which the COC is not done well. It really isn't. But they were they were using the COC to their advantage to remove people they didn't like. And it's been an ongoing discussion for quite a while. And like I said, when I first got told what happened, and then I reached out to somebody who was at the event, and actually I got a hold of two people that I knew at the event that said they saw what they saw the incident, and I thought they were being truthful. And when you add just the generalized statement of what happened, plus what two people that I thought I could trust backed up what has been being discussed about things, then it lined it up. And if I would have known, if at any point somebody would have told me your name, if at any point somebody would have said your name, I would have if those two people that told me what happened, if they would have said, well, it was between this person and this person and gave me names, I would have reached out to you first. I would have reached out to you first, and I would have said, hey, this is what we got told. This is a discussion we've been having. Is there more to this story before, you know, we go? And maybe I should have contacted Burning Lens directly and said, hey, is there any way I can contact this person? Because it's been an ongoing discussion on our show, and it's been an issue, and I want to make sure that I get it right. But like I said, I thought I could trust those two people. I really did. And this has been a learning experience for me. You know, I got almost 22 years in this game, and I've always believed that if you can't learn something every day, then it gets boring. Well, I've been learning for the past 7 days over this. Now, in your video, you explain that you have PTSD and that this situation is different than what it would be for most people. And I cannot tell you that I relate to that situation. I don't feel uncomfortable around people. I would say that I do suffer. I'm not even going to say that I suffer from it, but I do have it. I know it's there. And I keep it in the back of my mind. But I do have some deficiencies when it comes to recollections of things that have happened in the past that do come back to haunt me on a regular basis. So I can understand where things of the past can affect you. I can't say that I understand how it affects you because every human being is different. Every person handles their issues concerning that differently. We're all supposed to be different. You know, if we were all exactly the same, life would be pretty freaking boring. It really would. Everybody keeps talking about normal. I don't ever want to achieve normal because normal sounds boring. But, you know, when you went into details about how you react and how on the outside it would look normal, you know, to other people, that's still, there's people that know you. And there's people that are well aware that it wasn't. And other people should have stepped up. Okay? The fact that the individual was intoxicated when he did this, there was people that knew he was intoxicated doing this. And they should have stopped him. You know, in your situation, knowing what you said on your show is very plausible. And I can't even say plausible. It is correct. You would not have been able to push him away or do anything to separate yourself from the situation. You wouldn't have. So plausible is not even a correct word. Plausible means, yeah, well, it could be or it couldn't be. No, plausible leaves room for error. There isn't room for error in this situation. You could not stop the individual from doing what he did. But other people knew that this individual was intoxicated and didn't stop him for you. You know, if people are aware of something going on, people should step up. I've had, over the last 7 days, I've had about 7 people reach out to me constructively to discuss this issue. I've had probably about 20 people that were not so constructive about it, but simply stated that they disagreed with me. I've had a whole slew of other people that it's been very destructive. I'm not going to worry about that. I brought a lot of this ridicule about this situation on myself. And part of me feels like after everything that I've found out, I deserve quite a bit of that ridicule. There is one thing that keeps coming up that I want to get out there. That I don't know how this is going to be taken by anybody that's watching this, but one of the things they keep getting brought up and back in my face and back in my face and back in my face over and over again is the same statements about, well, you're a big guy. You're already threatening. You know, you're a big guy. How's anybody going to say no to you? You'd actually be surprised how many times I've gone to talk to anybody or offered someone a hug or something like that, and they've told me no. I've not gotten upset. I've not tried to force the issue. I said, okay, that's fair. Even though I'm a big guy, if anybody took a few minutes to get to know me, I'm not this huge ass intimidating person like you think I am. You know, out on the battlefield, sure. I'm an intimidating figure that I fight with a 12-foot pole arm, and, you know, and I'm a type A personality. So yes, by nature, I take charge of situations. I stand out in front. I jump into the lead as fast as I possibly can. Sometimes to my own detriment. But I keep getting told that, well, you're already an intimidating person against people who are smaller because of how big you are. I do not attempt to try to make anybody feel unwelcome or uncomfortable when we're out there on that field. I don't. I've told so many people, if for some reason you think that or some reason you feel intimidated by me out there, and if you feel intimidated, you know, or scared of me when you're out there, just all you have to do is tell me. Say, hey, look, I feel scared of you. I feel intimidated by you. Okay. And I'm probably going to ask you, well, what is it that I'm doing that's making you feel scared of me? I had somebody actually tell me once that they felt scared of me, and I asked them, I said, well, then how do I make you feel scared of me? And they said, well, you're a big guy with a big pole arm. Well, there's nothing I can do about that except want to fight with daggers. I have a loud voice that carries. I have a big frame, and sometimes it honestly feels like I'm being told that just because of my size and my voice, I make it unsafe. I don't have to say I don't really have to say anything other than, hey, how you doing? And people are like, oh. That's not the person I am. That's not the kind of guy I am. I'm a very fun, loving, you know, peaceful person. I can't really get into fights with people, and it's not because I can't. It's because of other reasons. None that I wish to even get into here. If anybody wants to ask me what I mean by that, by all means, private message me. I mean, quite a few of you out there in this world after this last week have had no problems sending me messages. Let's just say it does have to do with the United States military. Okay, but you know, I am, even if I was already a gentle, fun-loving person, I have to enforce that even more so in my mind. You know, even in tense situations where you really should go hands-on with people, if a fight breaks out, I have to second guess every single action, every single second of what I do. You know, and so when people constantly say that, well, you're a big guy and you're intimidating and all of this, it really sucks because it's like, well, if you have to say that about me, then that means you don't know me. I have friends that are anywhere from 4 foot something to 7 foot something. You know, any one of my close friends will tell you, yeah, you think he's big and mean and everything else. Yeah, hang out with him for 5 seconds. He ain't that big and mean. But the fact that show came off and made it sound like I was some big mean asshole that's picking on somebody, that wasn't the intention. And for the people out there that thought I was trying to justify this guy's actions, yeah, I like I said, the show was not done very well. It was definitely a very poorly put together show. It wasn't one of my usual shows where I break down things with knowledge and foresight and everything else. It was a lot of knee-jerk reactions, which I yell at people for knee-jerk reactions, and I did it myself. I was guilty of that myself. I don't, I got accused of supporting a rape culture. I don't support a rape culture. I don't support anybody that wants to commit any kind of foul acts against any human beings. I honestly dream of a world where everybody just gets the fuck along. Yeah, we don't agree all the damn time, but at least we don't hate each other. I hate when people get stupid, and I hate when people hate each other, and I just do. I want things to be fun. I want things to be entertaining, and after this week and everything that's gone on, I've seriously contemplated just shutting down the show, and I've seriously contemplated shutting down my Amtgard career. I've heard from so many voices that I am what y'all are trying to get rid of. And a lot of those voices don't even know who I am. They don't even stop to ask. So Upmihr, if that's how you pronounce your name, and I so apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And once again, you guys, everybody watching this, I apologize. Oh, okay. Am I pronouncing your name right? I apologize if you think that I was attacking you, and if it came across that I was attacking you. Mir is fine. Okay. If I wasn't attempting to attack you, I wasn't attempting to belittle you. None of that. I was not trying to belittle your situation or none of that. I just was simply, like I said, going off of what was presented to me and information I was given by people I thought I could trust. And I hope you got to see all of the show. I don't know if you did or not. I just hope you understand that I am sorry about what happened to you. I just wish somebody would have stopped it. I really do. I really wish somebody would have stepped in and stood up. I really wish somebody would have stopped what happened to you. I really do. I really wish somebody would have, but they didn't, and it's something that you have to deal with. And then, like I said, me going with knee-jerk reactions, which I normally don't do, and it was totally asinine of myself. I made your situation worse, and it wasn't my intention. whatsoever. My intention was not to make your situation worse. My intention was not to belittle your situation. None of that. It just wasn't. Like I said, I want everybody to like each other. I want everybody to have fun. It's all I've ever wanted for the 21 plus years I've played this game, is just everybody to have fun. I mean, hell, a lot of people used to call me the peacemaker. I don't know what happened. I don't. You know, I fall back sometimes on Star Trek for some reasonings, and is it possible, like, Spock looked at Kirk and told him, I said, is it possible we become so old that we become incapable of change? I don't want to think that. I believe that if you keep your mind open and learning every single day, then, you know, everybody's capable of learning things and changing as they learn things. You know, I learned a couple lessons from this. I'm not gonna lie. Number one, before I run any story that definitely involves a situation of private nature such as this, I'm going to try to reach out to parties involved if I can figure out who they are, and try to get information and make sure that I have shit together. My shit was not together last Monday. It really wasn't. And for that, it did some damage. And some of the damage happens sometimes, but the damage that happened to you, not acceptable by any means whatsoever. And so, Mirror, like I said, I apologize for how my show made you feel. I apologize for how my show made anybody who feels that they can't report something now because of my show. I don't want anybody at all to feel like they can't report things. Everybody should be able to report it. Even if it's not something that happened. Let me make sure I clarify that. Even if a person thinks that something has happened and that's not what happened and it's just a misunderstanding, the person should still feel free and feel every right to report that situation, because maybe that they'll get the misunderstanding cleared up, and then everybody will be right. What I was attempting to do, and I failed miserably at it. What I was attempting to do was to continue the discussion of people using the COCs incorrectly, like they have in the past. Like, this incident is not an issue where reporting in COC was used incorrectly, but there's been several incidences where people have utilized their position and the rules to get rid of people they didn't like, and I thought that was it. This was another story of adding into it, and I was wrong. I was completely wrong, and I'll admit when I'm incorrect, and I was wrong, and I'm sure you're a wonderful person, and I've never had a chance to meet you, and already there is a form of friction between us, and we've never met each other in person. There's, like I said, I lost friends over this. I've lost people that I wouldn't exactly call friends, but people I've associated with for the last 21 years have been in the game, or no longer wish to talk to me, you know. And so it's been a pretty painful process over the last week. I was hoping, you know, my apology, and then tonight I got attacked because there was no process Star Trek reference. Appreciate that line of thought. That is the best response I can ask for. these old ideas no longer serve us. We have to grow. Okay, you're right. There are some things about the past that are still good today. There are some of the ways that we handled things in the past that have to go. You know, I always believed that the way we handled some of our problem children in the past seemed more expedient and a lot less public. You know, but they aren't exactly the most correct ways either. You know, it's, yeah, there's a lot of change. There's a lot of there's a lot of thinking that I've had to do over this past 7 days. And you know, the bad part about it is I got to figure out how to keep my family alive for the next 72 hours because we have a hurricane coming. It was only supposed to be like a tropical depression and a tropical storm. Now it's going to be a hurricane, and it's going to smack my town that I live in head on. Whew. But then I got another message again tonight, and it was about 12 o'clock that I got another message about this. And like I said, I decided after I watched your video, not, I don't know how long ago it was. I know that a person from our channel, we have a couple people that run the channel, messaged you about the apology video, and then I finally saw your response right before I went on the air. But I don't know what else I could possibly say or do. If you want to share this video to people, feel free to do so. There's quite a few of us that have a lot of learning to do. I mean, yes, there's going to be some of us that you're still probably going to get annoyed with us telling stories of the past. You know, some of us have missed our glory fighting days, and we can fight for about good 10, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a half an hour on the battlefield, and then we sit on the sidelines because we're broken, and then we tell stories about how we used to use carpet padding on PVC as weaponry back in the day, and we watch people who have no idea what that's like just cringe, and how much we used to beat each other, up, and then we still had fun and laughed and carried on. You know, some people still find those stories somewhat entertaining. Some people don't. I would really like to work with people on finding a way to do some overhauling on these COCs. I think our COCs, they're good in theory, but they leave so much more they leave so much more work for, they left so much room for so much improvement. And unfortunately, there's been people that have come into power that have really done bad with some of these COCs. And I would honestly like there to be some kind of a system that was a better checks and balance on some things. I wish we had a better checks and balance system on making sure that if people do get removed but are allowed to come back, that those people can be kept up on so they don't continue. Because the more and more information I found out about this guy, I mean, you said in your video that this, I don't know if the person, as my understanding of the video, the person was your friend, or, you know, emphasize was. I'm not sure. I was trying to understand that. I played it back a couple times. But my understanding is there's a reoccurring issue with the same individual with multiple different people. And since it is only a 3-year suspension, which the length I disagree with, I think it should be way longer. There's some kind of check system to verify that this doesn't happen again. And at the moment it does, the moment it happens again, it's gone forever. But I don't know. And there's nothing really in the ROP that even really says it. There's nothing in the COCs that really says those kinds of things. And I think we need to have a little bit more of a thorough system to help protect, victims, and also to make sure that people who are accused also, that things are done properly. If we're going to adopt something that causes the end of a membership, whether it be temporary or permanently, we should make sure that this system is done in a way to make sure all care is handled on all sides. And like I said before, I've seen a lot of it not happen. I've seen it been abused on both sides. And I really hope that, somebody would be willing to, work with me and put together maybe a group that actually can sit down and go over these and say, okay, how can we build a system, a standardization system on how we, what's the proper procedures, because a lot of these monarchs are making this stuff up as they go along, and some of them are making the right decision, some of them are making poor decisions. I had a discussion with the Queen of Burning Lands about this, but she also knows I disagree. I think it should have been permanent. After I got more and more details about this, I still keep going back to the fact, and it keeps racing back, and the reason why I'm being so sporadic all over the place is my mind keeps going back to what I knew when we clicked start streaming Monday night to what I know when I clicked start streaming tonight, and how this situation literally on Monday night when I clicked start streaming was the size of the tip of this pen. By the time I clicked start streaming tonight, it was a size larger than the planet Earth in relation to how much of a difference in 7 days. It was an extremely huge learning experience about my show. I'm going to say this much, and then I'm going to get off the air because it's 1:30 in the morning and I have to get up in 2.5 hours to go work. I'm going to say this much once again. Mir, I sincerely apologize to you for how my show affected you, for the things that I said that made it sound like I was attacking you, for belittling your situation. That was not my intention, nor would have ever been my intention. And because it came off that way, I apologize. It is my fault and my responsibility. This show will probably not air for a week or two. I've got to go back and look at restructuring the show and how I handle the show and how I conduct the show. I'm not going to dump my personality and become some vanilla, monotone person. You can get that on a lot of other people's channels. I probably put people to sleep tonight because it's been monotone. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to change the monotone part of it. But I'm going to make sure before I run a store, from here on out, I'm going to make sure that before I run something, I'm not going to run it without having without having at least a decent grasp of what the incident is, and then go on it from there. Because usually what I say is, here's an incident and here's my take on it based off of the last 21 years of experience I have. I'm going to get more information about it so I can at least be more truthful and stop relying on people that I think I could trust that were there. And hopefully that'll make the show a little bit better. Not to mention the fact I got to change my intros, but because of all this, I was told I no longer had authorization to use the photos I have, because somebody who gave me permission a long time ago to use those photographs has now withdrawn their permission to use their photographs because of this. So now I got to change the intros all up. I got to do a lot of work to the show appearance and everything else. So there's a lot of things I got to do. Plus, I don't even know if this house is still going to be here tomorrow after Wednesday. So I got a lot of crap in the next 72 hours that I got to go through. So the show is gonna be put on hold for, I'd say, at least not this weekend coming up, but definitely it may have to wait till after Keep. I'm hoping to still go to Keep. Not sure yet, but I'm hoping. Thank you. Same to you. So I'm hoping after Keep to do a show. And I assure you that after the event at Keep, if anything happens, I will make sure I get any information I can possibly get, and then speak to people in charge of whichever park or kingdom they're associated with to verify information before I go on the show. I will make sure I do that. But like I said, I got a lot of changes I got to make to the show now and stuff like that. So there's, with the hurricane, and then Keep is coming up. This weekend's going to be a very busy weekend because an organization I'm about to become a part of, to become a pro wrestler, is having a show on Saturday, so I have to be there for that. And then, of course, stuff like that. So it's going to be a busy next 7 days. So I'm just, and not to mention the fact, still waiting on this to heal. I'll be grateful when I can stop taking the medications and I can actually move my right hand and everything else. I can't right now. This is literally how I have to write. This is the best I can do, and how I write, and I'm right-handed. You should see how I wrote your name on the paper to make sure I pronounced it right. It's ridiculous. It looks like my 6-year-old came in here and wrote your name for me. But anyway, yeah, so the last 7 days have sucked. And I'd have to say a lot of it's my fault. So hopefully things turn around. I'm right about ready to fall asleep. So anyway, to everybody out there listening, and to Upmihr, who's been in my chat room, y'all have yourselves a wonderful night. Get some rest if you can. Hell, if you're on Graveyard and you're watching my show, because things are so slow, nobody's paying attention to you watching YouTube. Have a good rest of shift for everybody out there in the emergency services world. It's 1:30, and just stay safe out there. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. We will see you all later. I usually have a really cool outro, but I can't play it anymore. So the only thing I can do is say to everybody in the world, in the words of Abraham Lincoln from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes. Good night, folks.